About the capital market and economic growth, which is the roles of suku and other subcomponents. The research is written by the UITM students, Johor. The publishing date is of 1st December 2020. We figuring that they are using the populations, which is in Malaysia between 1998 and the 2018. This is determining the suku and the bond is actually related to each other. It is determine each other. How can we say that? Because suku is actually a bond, but in terms of Islamic financial. So the objective of this research is to increasing attention paid to the suku itself, because most of Malaysians or most of us are open to the bond market, not to focusing on suku. So the gap of the research is the lack of study that considers suku and the other subcomponents is a part of the factors that economic growth.
That the superior performance of sukuk indices over bond indices in terms of BRI estimation, as well as the significant difference in this between two types of asset. This relates to also the original purpose of the study, which was to see if sukuk perform differently than conventional bond, and using VR approach to measure the differences. Then the author note the results that suggest that sukuk indices can serve as a valuable diversification tool for investors seeking to reduce their overall portfolio risk. They also suggest that the difference in risk can be used by policymakers to retain financial stability, implying a fundamental reimagination of storage of public funds such as pensions, and it's a way for policymakers to hedge public funds from future financial crises that might occur.
Literature review. The use of citation and reference is essential for providing stronger explanation and showing that research has been done before reaching conclusion. The article focused on the relationship between sukuk and economic growth in Islamic finance and its data collection in between 1998 and 2018. The researcher do not claim that sukuk is the only factor for economic growth and acknowledge other possibilities. There is no evidence of bias in the article, as the researcher are narrow in their focus on the key point while accepting the importance of other factors.
Design and procedure, the research is using the explanatory design, which is they are focusing on identifying the content that is not understood and explaining it. The design is chosen, or the designs for explanatory are chosen to ensure that the relationships of the variables, which is the suku, and the economic growth are related to each other. The research is using the analytic study, which is the research is leading by the curiosity. It is also using the fundamental research method, which is they are using for relationship between the curiosity. The researcher is coming out with their own idea, which is they said that the roles of suku and subcomponents is actually giving an impact to the economic growth itself. The research is also using the research quantitative, which is the method that are using the second quantitative. The data is actually existed at the Bank Negara Malaysia. So they are using the terms of the data and then convince it to ensure they got the right results for their own objectives. The capital market brought some innovation and financial market products. So as we could see, actually the scenario can change the overall demand, leading to the shift of the demand and supply the capital market products. Researchers are maintaining the structural study method. The empirical investigation is based on the autogressive distribute lag, which is the ARDL distribution bond test. This is to gain a depth understanding a specific context, which is refer on how the research focusing and direct the information taken and data collection in terms of leading informations of goals. So as we could see, the component of the subcomponents in the economic growth of the suku, which is the objective of itself. The researcher is using the solo growth model and using the methods to get direct relationship and direct understanding. The identifying, we see that the variable of the study is actually the suku, CB, CBS, SMC, SM3, and CIC, BNM, Bank Negara Malaysia, and IFS. The research is using the pilot study, which is they are focusing on the line, small terms first before directs to the right components. This is to figuring the right procedures and ensure that they understand.
The article Capital Market and Economic Growth in Malaysia and the Role of Sukuk and Other Subcomponents. Firstly, what is data analysis? Data analysis is the process of systematically applying statistical or logical techniques to describe and evaluate data. The data in this article is quantitative, most importantly, secondary quantitative. The data has been collected quarterly from 1998 to 2018. The article also discusses the variables that are potentially responsible for economic growth. The data in this article has been displayed in graphs to make it easier for people to understand. However, for people who struggle with graphs, it also describes the data in detail in words in the article. After having analyzed the data, the authors found no significant effect played by Sukuk on the economic growth of Malaysia. However, they found that the Malaysia is still the leading player in the global Sukuk played by Sukuk on the economic growth of Malaysia. However, they found that the Malaysia is still the leading player in the global Sukuk market, which they believe boosts economic confidence in Malaysia, but they find hard to measure. However, they believe that they cannot ignore the effect Sukuk plays because they think the economic confidence that it gives to Malaysia plays a role in boosting Malaysian economic growth. Secondly, played by Sukuk on the economic growth of Malaysia. However, they found that the Malaysia is still the leading player in the global Sukuk market, which they believe boosts economic confidence in Malaysia, but they find hard to measure. However, they believe that they cannot ignore the effect Sukuk plays because they think the economic confidence that it gives to Malaysia plays a role in boosting Malaysian economic growth. Secondly,
For the conclusion, the study did not find strong evidence to support the role of Sukuk in economic growth, but it suggested that promoting Sukuk and sub-components capital market could be effective if appropriate action are taken in Malaysia. The study found positive effect on the economy from Sukuk, but not strong enough to provide a significant role in economic growth. The researcher acknowledged limitation due to the lack of information, resources and data, and recommend future research to consider both corporate and government Sukuk for better result. Overall, the data showed that Sukuk are beneficial in financial terms, but not enough to prove their strong impact on economic growth. Lastly, implication. The study has theoretical implication that can be contribute to existing theories or lead to the development of new ones, particularly in the area of pricing efficiency. Additionally, the study suggests that creating more awareness among conventional bond investors, including retail investors, about the benefit of Sukuk investment could attract more players to the Sukuk market, ultimately improving market liquidity. The researcher highlight the importance of raising awareness to generate more data for further research, confirming this as an implication of their study.